Hello and welcome to our long play review for Apex Legends. I'm Ben and I'm joined by my good friend Cash.
Hello.
So, Cash, it's a bit of a weird one. This we're talking about a battle royale game that's free to play, um,
In a
powered by
completely unsaturated market, yeah.
yeah, not chasing that trend at all. Powered by loot boxes and published by EA.
Yeah.
And yet it's probably the best game I've played for quite some time. As far as multiplayer shooters go, I don't think I've been this excited for a game or enjoyed a game this much since Overwatch came out.
It's crazy, isn't it? I think if you took everything you said and put it on a piece of paper and then said this game's coming out in a year's time, almost everyone would just have instantly hated it and just it would have bombed without even
I-
trying.
yeah, and
And I think they did a really clever thing by just releasing it. Like, here you go, it's out in like a couple of days, off you go.
completely, and I think that's something that's going to come across during this review. Is that this is a game developed and released via smart choices. So we're talking about Apex Legends, which is as we've said, a battle royale game made by Respawn Entertainment. The guys who developed Titanfall and ran by the gents who originally created Call of Duty and I suppose they're pretty much responsible for modern multiplayer shooters. They are the ones who spearheaded Modern Warfare back in the day, and that very much reinvented the kind of online shooter with that constant set of progression, that constant sense of progression as you go through the ranks. So lot of pedigree. And
Yeah.
I really like Titanfall 2. I think Titanfall 2 is fucking great. I always get the impression it reviewed well and is remembered even more fondly since. Not
Yeah, it's definitely I kind of got onto the bandwagon because it came out on the Xbox as an exclusive. And PC, I never picked up on PC, and then it came up PS4 or the Titanfall 2, and I just thought, I'll just see what it does. There's no kind of immediate rush. And then I remember you saying, get it when it came down to like a price drop. And then I remember getting it. And I actually played the demo as well before getting it, and I was like, yeah, this game is actually really, really enjoyable. And I've sunk so many hours into it, not even for the campaign, but the multiplayer and the co-op aspect I really enjoyed as well.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I actually managed to platinum it, which involves it's basically just playing the campaign on the hardest difficulty. But then there's that fucking assault course at the start of the game, and you've got to do it under something like 30
Yeah,
seconds.
which is funny because that's exactly how Modern Warfare, the original started. You got
Oh, that thing at the end. The is it the
well, you've got
little
the
aeroplane?
the Mile High Club at the end, but then at the very beginning, you've got the assault course to go through. You have to get it in kind of
Yeah.
seconds. Yeah, yeah,
So I think I spent 2 hours just playing that assault course over and over again. Bearing in mind runs never lasted more than like a minute or so. It was dozens and dozens of runs just hammering it.
yeah. I
Uh,
remember doing it. I think because there's like a scoreboard, and I got about halfway up, and I was pretty satisfied with that. But I remember just going over it and over it, and then like beating the ghost and following the ghost and seeing what the ghost does, and thinking, "Oh shit, I didn't know you could do that." It was a really clever way of being a tutorial in itself, rather than kind of doing an ad hoc level, which
yeah,
is just really just holding your hand and showing you how the game works.
it's great, and I loved BT, the Titan in the game. I thought he was really cool, but
PT, yeah, yeah,
generally Respawn have made some really good games, very high pedigree, and they've kind of come storming out the gate with the Apex Legends. As I say, this battle royale in a crowded market. It's chasing after those Fortnite bucks, um, and this game came out of nowhere. I think that's the first thing. It just launched. I saw posts on Reddit to say Respawn are doing a battle royale, and I thought, oh, that's cool. I'll read about it later. And then it kind of caught my attention. Oh, whoa, shit! It's out now.
yeah, exactly, exactly. I think 2 days before it came out, that's when I saw the Reddit posts and the internet posts kind of light up, and I was like, oh wow, this just come out of nowhere. There was no rumors, no notifications, no leaks or anything like that. There was. I assumed that next game they were going to be working for was probably Titanfall 3. And they've actually said that, no, we're not working on that just yet, or they've not announced that they're working on it yet anyway.
Yeah, there's been a few kind of controversial, possibly things come out of it. So, is it Vince Zampella, the lead of Respawn? He's kind of come out and said, after Titanfall 2 was done, we were prototyping some stuff. One of our developers sat down and just decided to see if they could make the biggest map they possibly could before their engine broke. and they were playing things like PUBG, things like that. Obviously, seeing battle royales take off, those guys play as shooters. They play games as well as make them, and they started messing around and prototyping essentially a new game type for what could be in Titanfall 3. And it kind of evolved from there. They had Titans in it apparently originally, but they were imbalanced, so they couldn't use them. So they stripped them back. They had the more full mobility, wall running, double jumping, and it caused people to split up when in teams. So they pared that back. And what we've kind of been left with is this slightly more reined in shooter set in the Titanfall universe. I mean, I suppose the setting is it's essentially like a blood sport, kind of like an Unreal Tournament style thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Where
absolutely. It's like almost Smash TV kind of thing. Like there's an audience and there's fans of the show, and there's kind of like your heroes and your favorites that you pick, and they all drop in and they all kind of fight to the death, as it were. Yeah,
yeah,
it's kind of got that connotation to it.
it
And it's the
feels like
Titanfall point you made is good in Titanfall Universe. I was playing with some people online, and they kept saying, "Oh, this reminds me a lot of Titanfall. Oh, this is really like Titanfall." And I had to kind of say, "This is set in the Titanfall universe. You do know it." They're like, "Oh shit, really, really?"
it's really weird that somebody who knows what Titanfall is doesn't realize that. I mean, this is like the opening movie for this shows. Is it Cuban Blisk, who's like the
Yeah, the South African
antagonist?
guy.
Yeah, he's like he runs the Apex mercenary companies. The Apex Predators are like they're the boss characters in Titanfall 2 campaign. Um, and this is kind of set 30 years after Titanfall 2, and the intro movie's got him sitting in a bar basically explaining what Apex Legends is, and it feels like it's basically a PR exercise for the Apex Predator mercenary company to show off like their great they're superstars and kind of get the public on their side, and it's basically this ridiculous blood sport. But yeah, it's got all the trappings of a normal battle royale. You start off in an airship, you parachute in. You parachute in with no weapons. It's a scramble. There's different named locations on the map, smaller unnamed locations in between. But there's just loads of nice little spins on things and touches that are great.
I think it's design that really sets it apart from the other ones. So, like you say, you've got the very basic battle royale monikers. You've got the dropping in from a ship. You've got the enclosing circle, and you've got kind of the number of people you have to kill and be the last one standing. But I think the design choices that set it out, for example, are you're in squads. There's no solo mode. There's no kind of duo mode. And you're actively encouraged to kind of go in a group. Even going solo, guarantee you won't last as long.
Yeah, it's very, very team orientated, and that seems to have been a controversial decision in the first few days. A lot of people saying, "Why can't I play solo?" But I think this is a much stronger game because of that. I really like the team aspect. I by no means I'm a battle royale expert. I've played very little of Fortnite. It's just not my thing. I don't like the shooting that much, and I think the building sucks ass. I really don't like it.
I think I hate it because I'm not good at it. Like, I'll be playing against seems to be like a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old. I'll take one shot at him, and he's built the Empire State in less than half a second, and I'm like looking at my controller thinking, "How the hell have you done that?"
Like, oh, fuck this shit.
I mean, clearly, with anything, people who have spent much more time on it are going to be better than you, and I just think that learning curve to just build is just not great. And I've seen Epic make comments like they want to kind of change the end game so it's not just build. But I really don't know how you could change that now without changing kind of a big core function of the game. But the one thing that did interest me on Fortnite, and it's stuck behind a paywall at the moment, is the co-op aspect. And
that was the original game, wasn't it? It started off as a wave-based zombie survival thing that did fuck all, kind of languished in early access for years, and then they pivoted into Battle Royale to chase PUBG's dollars and took over.
Yeah, it came out, like you say, it came out of nowhere. It just seemed to be a very instant cash cow. It went straight to free-to-play, just like Apex Legends has. And it's just become this cult phenomenon. Like, it's almost anything. Even I'm sure your grandparents will know what Fortnite is if you ask them.
Yeah, it is. They sell Fortnite T-shirts in Primark and stuff. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's the new generation. It's a new fancy thing. It's the Furby of our generation, or the Tamagotchis. It's just Fortnite, I guess.
It's probably what Pokemon was to people our age.
Yeah,
like back in the late '90s. It's a huge phenomenon. So I've not played much Fortnite. Don't really like it too much. It's okay. I've tried it a few times. Never really got into it. Never played PUBG. Never really appealed to me. It looks really bland, and I think that's probably one of its biggest weaknesses and why it's not maintained its kind of king of the hill status. It just has no brand and nothing to. It's just generic military.
I think that's I agree. There's no persona behind it. There's no like at least Fortnite you could say it's got its kind of goofiness, it's got its cartoonish kind of atmosphere, its
Yeah.
aesthetic.
When you see
Pub,
Fortnite, you know it's Fortnite. Like it has a distinct art style and a lot of personality.
yeah, PUBG I think is kind of starting to come on it. They've done a Resident Evil event recently to tie in with the new release of Resident Evil 2.
They
And I
also
think
did when it came to PlayStation 4, they did some Naughty Dog crossovers. I think you could play as Nathan Drake, and you could get Ellie's backpack from The Last of Us.
see
I think.
I mean that's okay. That's interesting to kind of introduce it to the PlayStation brand. But like you say, outside of those examples, there isn't much going on. And I think PUBG was the biggest. I think it was the first biggest battle royale.
Oh,
It wasn't the
easily.
first because they had like H1Z1, and you had the culling, and then there's obviously Minecraft Hunger Games that was based off the movie The Hunger Games.
Yeah.
So it's just been an evolution and just been step after step of step improvements. And I think they all appeal to different people. So Fortnite is definitely for the masses because it's free
Yeah,
and it's
easy to get
accessible.
in, low bar of entry. PUBG goes for that far greater level of realism and tension. From what I've seen, not played it,
Yeah,
so I can't really
yeah.
talk.
I've played a fair few games, a fair few hours. Not won many chicken dinners, unfortunately. But I
Going
have to
hungry.
admit that the most fun I've had on that has always been with teams. Like I've never really enjoyed it too much solo. I've very rarely play solo, and it's maybe it's because I'm bad, or maybe it's just because I just generally don't enjoy it. But I much prefer playing in squads and
Yeah.
communicating. It just seems to be much more enjoyable for me.
Well, the one battle royale that I have played a fair amount of is Blackout in Black Ops 4 before, which came out just before Christmas, kind of November time last year. Um, and it's fine. It's Call of Duty PUBG for all accounts. It's fine. I really enjoyed it for what it was. I bought Blackout for that to just try it and see what it was like. Played good few hours of it. Kind of found myself by the time Christmas rolled around, maybe the early January, fallen off to play more traditional multiplayer in it rather than the Blackout mode. It kind of
Ah,
didn't stay with me. I
did
kind of got
stick with you.
a bit
Okay.
fatigued by it. But it's Call of Duty. It's a good example of Call of Duty doing battle royale. It's not bad. It's just not like it just didn't hold my attention for a huge amount of time, and I never think I loved it. I enjoyed it, but I don't think I ever loved it.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, when they announced it as well, I was kind of scratching my head. I was sitting on the fence. I
yeah.
thought, don't know how it's going to play out, how it's going to work. But I think I played at yours for a fair bit, and I've seen a lot of let's play videos.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot we played it together. That was a lot of fun, but I think it probably comes back to your point saying you preferred playing PUBG with friends. I think any game's better with friends as long as it's
yeah,
not a complete car crash. Um,
exactly.
it's
And
not
like
a
Black,
good
and
bar to set.
yeah, and Blackout, as I was saying, it did the battle royale feature towards its fans. Like it knew what its fans wanted. It had zombies in there. It had the location from the famous maps. It had the iconic people and characters in there that you could unlock. Had the guns in there as well. It had the kind of the aesthetic that looks. So anybody who plays COD is, not out of the water or is not kind of completely alien to them. They know
Yeah,
pretty much what's going on. And I think that's what I liked about it. It kind of reminded me of my fun days with the original Black Ops, and just kind of looking around and moving around and seeing how things play and stuff. And I played the later games here and there, and I think I stopped playing COD after Modern Warfare 3. That's when I stopped getting them yearly. But you still go around to people's houses and you still play the zombie modes. They still play like
well,
the
I haven't bought a Call of Duty
land modes.
since Advanced Warfare, and I did not finish the campaign in that one. And before that, I hadn't bought one since Modern Warfare 2. By the time Modern Warfare 2 rolled around, I'd very much gotten tired of it. It kind of jumped the shark at that point, and I was never that invested in multiplayer, even though that was what it got big for. So I'm not a Call of Duty aficionado, but Black Ops seems like a good Call of Duty. I've got about 50, 60 hours out of it. I got it about half price during the Black Friday sales, so I can't complain. So yeah, that's my experience of Battle Royale. But yeah, so I'm not an expert in Battle Royale, but Apex Legends, I I fucking love this game. I think it's genuinely really, really good, if not great. I mean, it's a disaster on paper. It's freemium. loot boxes, random chance for cash. EA's in the mix.
Yeah, yeah. Even if you say EA, just think, nah, fuck that. EA and loot boxes, they're probably the two killer words in
Well, yes,
gaming. I think Anthem
Battlefront.
has come out recently as well, and that apparently had to go back to the drawing board and take out the loot boxes. That was probably a big part of it because there was so much backlash from EA and
Yeah, they've adjusted their pricing. Because I've actually it's been out for a few weeks in early access. It's out tomorrow for when at the time of recording. So it's out on the 22nd officially. My copy came early for PlayStation 4 today, and I've played a few hours of it. And the store is there, and I haven't looked into what cash values translate to, but they definitely give you a healthy dose of like the in-game currency to start buying some cosmetics. But it feels like that's probably a reaction to the backlash that you've kind of
yeah.
touched on there.
I think yeah, because Battlefront 2 was kind of the big one, wasn't it? Where you had to buy loot boxes to level up
Yeah.
almost.
So the fact that they have put them in this, it sounds like a disaster. And not only is this chasing the battle royale genre, it's also kind of baking in the hero shooter genre that Overwatch is still kind of carrying the torch for.
It touches lightly, and I mean, it's not the first battle royale to try that. I think the Paladins one. I think was it called Battle Right?
Realm Royale.
Realm Royale. Sorry, yeah. Paladins, which is kind of the alternative Overwatch or the poor man's Overwatch, has done a battle royale as well with the Paladins characters, and they've got kind of their own abilities and their own kind of.
Again, I'm not actually sure that's Paladins anymore. I think that's what it started off as. Now I think it's its own thing.
Yeah, because it's evolved. But yeah, I think this is what kind of gives it this flavor. It gives its own persona. Everyone gets to choose from a roster of initially 6 characters with 2 more to unlock. Very wildly and different characters, each with their own roles as well, and even the roles kind of like support, assault, defense. They're not kind of just color changes or changes.
They do feel kind of like slightly pared back Overwatch heroes. They're kind of akin to the characters you play as in Black Ops, where everybody is a guy with a gun. They all move at the same speed, although they animate at different speeds. So some of the tankier guys feel slower than others. Everyone moves at the same speed. Everyone can use all the same weapons, but everyone has an active ability which you can press L1 with to activate. Which is usually a fairly significant ability. So you've got like Gibraltar, who's a tanky guy. He throws down a dome shield, so you can hide under. You've got Bangalore, who's like a soldier. She can fire smoke grenades to create cover. So everyone's got an ability they can actively use. Everyone's got a passive ability, which is just something they do. So Wraith, who is like a quick assassin style character, she can hear whispers in her head when someone's aiming at it for like an early warning. It's kind of like paranoia in Call of Duty. What else have you got? Jesus.
You got the robot. How can you forget the robot?
Pathfinder. So his passive is
pretty much taken out from Titanfall 2 when you see those robots, like the worker robots, working around.
Yeah, he's one of the Marvins, I think they're called, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
So his passive ability is there are beacons around the map, and if you get him to one, he can predict where the circle's going to end up. So you can basically head there in advance. And everyone's then got an ultimate ability, which is a bit of a game changer. So Caustic, one of the unlockable characters, he can throw a gas grenade which creates a huge area of poison gas. It obscures people's vision, it does damage over time.
And his teammate and he are not affected by it as well. And crucially, other Caustic people aren't affected by it as well, I believe.
Yeah, Caustic's an unusual character. He's cool. I really like him. He's a bit different to everybody else, I find. You've got
I don't think anyone feels too overpowered either. Like there isn't one character I just think, if I'm going to be against him, it's just going to be rubbish. You've always got kind of the escapee characters like Mirage. He seems to have many different ways of throwing distractions and getting out of tight situations. But when it comes to getting assault, you really have to kind of rely on your own skill. Whereas Bangalore is very good at assaulting people, but maybe not as good as getting the jump on people or getting kind of jumped on by people rather than kind of a smoke grenade and stuff. So I think everyone's got a flavor and there's a good balance and I don't think there's a decent team. Like there's not a particular set of 3 that seems to win every time. I think any combination almost, as long as it's not, everyone is assault character or everyone is a support character, you'd be absolutely fine.
I mean, every match you will come across pretty much every character being played as. I mean, you've got Bloodhound, who essentially his abilities or her abilities, that's a bit of a point of contention.
Very like Pyro in Team Fortress.
like their ability is to wall hack essentially, and that sounds ridiculous, but it's not. It's perfectly balanced, and it's fine. Everyone's well balanced. Nobody's overly powered. They're all essentially extensions of abilities that Titanfall 2 pilots had,
Yeah.
but they are given specific character, specific personalities. So that instead of playing the Hollow pilot or the grappling hook pilot, you will play as Mirage or Pathfinder to map onto those archetypes. I really like it. I think having a lot of personality is a big deal for games like this. I think Overwatch
Yeah.
is charming. Overwatch is a great game, I think, in terms of gameplay and design, but I think it keeps you invested because of the charm of its characters and things like that. So I
Yeah,
think it's
just the
important.
charm and the lore and the way they interact with each other, the way they communicate and just do really basic things like pick up ammo or call out health packs or call out where enemy locations are and things like that. And that's what Apex Legends does as well. So
Yeah, so this was talking about the gameplay. So like we've talked about the setting, it's a blood sport with all these heroes. They've all got abilities. All of them play in the same way. The shooting mechanics in this are just basically the fantastically tight shooting from Titanfall 2. Change up a little bit. So weapons have been tweaked to fit different archetypes. Um, but it's still that really snappy gunplay. That the time to kill is quick if you don't have armor. It's long enough to feel like you can have a fight if you do have armor. It strikes a balance in terms of time to kill that I don't think Call of Duty's done for a long time.
yeah, it does. And I mean, like you said before, it doesn't have the wall running, the double jumping, or the grappling hook, but it has the sliding. And I've seen a lot of kind of
Oh, sliding's
playing
really
and running
cool.
down hills and sliding and stuff. But I mean, it still feels quite tight. It still feels quite
Yeah, you don't have the wall
accessible.
running, but you're definitely mobile. You can vault up walls for about 10 foot. You can slide as you say, and if you slide down hills, it's like an infinite speed boost. There's a lot of mobility, and you can move fucking quick and get around really, really effectively. Like in gunfights, the best players are very mobile, lots of flanking, lots of coming at each other from unexpected angles. It's
Yeah,
great. So yeah, you're not as mobile as a pilot is in Titanfall 2, but it doesn't matter because it brings your squad together. It was a smart decision to pair it back, but still have it there to give it a signature. So mobility is great. The shooting is really tight. The time to kill is very balanced, I think, and armor scales nicely. Um, one thing that really annoyed me about Blackout was that you could be walking along super sneaky, and then somebody one shots you from 10 miles away with a sniper rifle, and I was just like, oh fuck that!
yeah. It's,
You
it's,
can't be
it's never
one shot
fun.
in this game. As far as I can tell, if you've got full health, um,
And
then
a decent armor and even a decent helmet, you'll be okay. You'll probably go down to a very, very low health, but it'll give you a chance to kind of escape,
yeah, completely. And
get your shit together, and then get back out there again.
there's only one weapon, which is kind of a super rare legendary sniper rifle. That's the only weapon I think that will kill somebody outright if they've got full health with a headshot.
Yeah,
But even
exactly.
then,
It needs to be
I'm
a
not
headshot.
sure it'll kill them outright. And most of the time, if you survive the first 30 seconds of the match, you will probably have at least level 1 armor, which
Yeah,
should stop that one-shot kill. So it just feels like you have time to react. It never feels cheap. It feels like either somebody got the better of you, or you just got outplayed, or you just got like, it's kind of death by a thousand cuts. We've had a few fights where we fight a squad, we win, but we're wounded. A second squad show up, we managed to overcome then. But by the time the third squad's turned up, we're just that whittled away
yeah. We
enough
just
that they
switched over that
overcome
line. I
us.
think when it comes to raw ability and skill, we probably would have been the victors if they're on level playing field. But you're always under attack, and you're always kind of have to consider your surroundings and when best to take a knee and to patch up.
Yeah. And like the whole item meta, I think is really effective. So you've got a huge variety of guns. They all feel really good. They're broken into 4 categories: light ammo guns, which are light assault rifles,
Like your SMGs,
SMGs,
little pistols,
pistols.
general guns, yeah.
Your heavy ammo guns.
Which tends to be like your I wouldn't say slugs, but just heavier ammo. So you've got kind of heavier assault rifles,
Your,
almost a revolver weapon as well.
your DMRs. Your
Yeah,
heavier
the
shooting rifles.
exactly. And then
Your shotguns.
shotguns, yeah, shotguns are just shotguns really. Mozambique, best weapon in the game.
That was the best thing though, because shotguns. Fucking shotguns are the best. The Peacekeeper, which I will probably refer to as the Enforcer at some point in this review. That's just fucking king, man. That's an amazing gun. I think this game's got the best shotgun. I think Titanfall as a franchise has the best shotgun since Halo 2.
Yeah, I really liked it in Titanfall too, and the Peacekeeper is I get it early on in the game. It's a lot of fun to have, and it does a hell of a lot of damage. And you can get mods for weapons as well that kind of increase the won't say increase the damage, but for example, the Peacekeeper, it reduces the recoil, so it becomes almost like a one hit kill.
It turns it into,
It's
from a spread to a slug.
exactly, it's just a focus fire, just in one little direction rather than.
But it's not like a straight upgrade though with that mod, because you have to aim down sights and give it like a 2 second lead time to charge up. So it introduces like a wrinkle to the gun to make it play a little bit more different. And if you can master that, it makes it more effective. But you've got to master it.
Exactly, but there's a balance. You can either kind of keep it aimed down your sights and you just charge it up constantly, but then you've got lower vision, what's going on, or you can kind of keep it holstered, run around, but then you have to wait, as you say, for the wind up time to kick in.
And there's even things like, I think there was one match where you had it and you were kind of keeping it constantly wound up, ready for a shot. And I was like, gosh, I can hear that from half a mile away. It's fucking noisy as hell. And sound plays a huge part in any battle royale game. So it's stuff like that. Like there's the shotguns, and energy ammo is the rarest. And energy weapons are generally mega powerful, but energy ammo is the rarest by far. And so they're limited use.
It tends to be hard to come by. Like one of my favorite weapons is the devotion, especially with the charger top up that you could get for it. But then getting ammo, it's even if you get like 40 or 80 rounds, that's like an extra 5 seconds almost on the
Yeah. Well,
machine
we're always
gun.
joking, like, oh, I've got an extra 40 bullets here. That's a good half a second worth of ammo here. It's devastating if you can play it. Loads of recoil, but if you can wind it up, it's great. So like the weapon variety, everything's kind of nicely color coded. All your upgrades are color coded, and they use the old World of Warcraft color coding system of whites for basics, blues for superiors, purples for epics, and orange for legendaries. It's really easy to understand. The game has a fantastic sense of what mods you want to put in which weapon. I mean, how much time have you spent in your inventory screen?
But you know what? That's one thing I love about it as well. It just seems to be very clever as to what you pick up and to what you have holstered and what you have in your inventory, and it makes that decision for you. And I would say 9 times out of 10, it's the right decision. And even if it's not, it's very simple just to switch out weapons and then make that decision for you, or even go to your inventory screen and just switch things around. It's all very intuitive. It's all very easy to master.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Blackout did a good job of inventory management on a console, on a control pad, and this makes it look shit. Quite frankly, it's so snappy, it's so quick and responsive and intelligent.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things with PUBG as well, because PUBG, you have to pick up the item, you then have to open your inventory, you have to attach it to the gun, you then have to move it around if you want to. You have to drop the gun if you don't want that gun, and you have to kind of do it manually. And all the while, you're kind of leaving you vulnerable. Whereas here, it's like you say, it's instant, it's snappy. You get back into the fight. You very little time is wasted just kind of sorting your inventory out.
Oh, completely.
And even very basic things like having a backpack full, it kind of notifies you because you have to pick up items is pressing the square button. But if you've got a full pack, it will force you to hold down the square button, which brings up a mini inventory screen that says, okay, you're going to pick this up, but you need to drop something. So we're going to drop, and you can do left, right. Actually, I don't need this grenade. I can drop this grenade, and then you can carry it back to the fight. And it's just very quick. It's very snappy, and it's a really great design choice. It's another reason why I'm really enjoying this game.
Yeah, nothing gets in the way of the game. There's no bullshit admin you're doing around fighting. It's just action. The action's really good. It's just a joy to fucking play. But I suppose the best thing this game does, and it's probably the thing that makes it stand out most, and that's the ping system.
Ping, oh my goodness.
It's the lifeblood of this game, especially because it's squad based. So
the best way to describe it is, I would say, if you've ever played Battlefield, because Battlefield, maybe not the latest one, but Battlefield historically has had a ping system where you would aim down at an enemy or an enemy vehicle, and it would alert everyone on your squad to say, hey, there's an enemy over there, and then mark it on the map. And it's simple because then people will know, okay, don't go down that way, or okay, let's kind of flank that position, etc., etc. In Apex Legends, it kind of takes it to a much grander scale in that you can ping enemies, you can ping positions, you can ping weapons, ammunition, you can ping points of interest, and it's just one button that does absolutely everything.
Yeah, and it seriously extends to like ludicrous things. You
Yeah, it
can
extends to like I'll watch this position, or I'll guard this position, or I'll
you can ping say, oh, it looks like enemies have been through here, like
yeah.
in the past tense, to warn your comrades, because nobody in this day and age, nobody likes talking to strangers on the internet. Fuck it, I know I don't. Um, the only time I've talked to strangers, it's been some kid rapping down the mic and shouting at his mom. It's just
Yeah,
not a pleasant experience.
it
It's
just it just seemed like a stereotype. I have met and played with some people on the mic, and it's been really joyful. But I think most of the time they either don't have it, or the other half of that time is they're very young and they're very dumb, or they're very loud and they're very kind of annoying, and it just kind of tracks from the game. But with the ping system, you don't have to worry about chatting. You could put everybody on mute, and they will have a very good idea what's going on. If there's enemies around, if we need to go somewhere, if there's ammo around, what's going on, what's coming on, etc., etc. It's a fantastic way to communicate without actually communicating in the traditional sense using your voice.
Yeah, and I would go so far as to say it actually helps more than talking, because how many times when we've been playing, somebody gets shot and it's like, oh shit, there's an enemy over there, and we're just like, Where the fuck does that mean?"
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, it, it,
with the
it's similar
ping,
to
you
PUBG in that
actually,
you've got the compass at the top, so you've got north, east, south, west, and you've got a scale of, I think, 0 to, let's say, 365 or something, or 360. And then people will say, oh, there's an enemy at 200, but 200 to you and 200 to me are two different places. And that's
yeah,
what really annoyed me on PUBG, because people would be like, shout the number out, shout the number out. And I was like, that number makes no fucking difference.
it's a vague kind of indication that they're
Yeah.
in that direction. I mean, the compass is still here, because we'll say like, oh, it looks like I can hear sound like gunfire in the distance coming from north, maybe like north 10 degrees or
Yeah.
something like that. But
Yeah,
like the ping
exactly.
here lets you say there's an enemy behind that rock. Watch this because he's shooting at us.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if you were to say that, like, I'm sure there's times where we said to each other, "Oh, watch out that dune, or watch over that building. There's an enemy there." And we looked at each other, and, what the fuck? Which building? There's like 15 buildings. Which one am I supposed to be looking at? Whereas here, you press it's the R1 button on the PlayStation. You double click it, and it points it on the map, and that tells people exactly where the enemy is, and they can look on the map and say, "All right, that's where it is," and that's much more quicker than just kind of babbling away on the voice and getting
Oh,
caught up in
completely.
the heat of the moment where you're kind of yelling down and getting excited, and people are not following your instructions.
And what else it does is it keeps like the audio clear to actually hear things, hear footsteps. I don't know about you, but my headset, I can easily tell where people are coming from. The sound design is spot on in this game.
Yeah, I can. If I've only got headphones on, but I can hear people coming from the left, the right, and then if it's behind me or in front of me, it usually makes a distinct or a difference in the sound. So I can kind of turn and pan and think, okay, yeah, it's coming from that direction. Let's watch out. And when you hear the crackling of firing from battles going on across the distance, you can say, okay, that's coming in this location to the east. Let's ignore that for now, or we can go back later on and hoover up anything that's been
Yeah.
dropped, or
Keep a
get the
watching
drop.
brief on that hill just in case one of us look at it, just to make sure no one's going to follow us. It's yeah, it heightens the tension, because you can, like, oh, there's fucking trouble over there. We need to keep an eye on it. They might come for us next.
Absolutely, just as much the gameplay is important here as the design, and it's really fantastically well done. I really am impressed with it.
Yeah, it's the ping system is this game's saving grace, and it means that squad play is fantastic, because it forces people to work together. Like you mentioned before, you go off on your own, you're going to be coming up against people who have three members of a squad going up against you, so you're going to get outgunned unless you are so much better than those people. The chances are you will die.
No, it's not going to happen. They've all got their abilities. They've all got ways to kind of help each other out.
Yeah,
It's just isn't going to happen unless you get the drop.
exactly. So this ping system, it kind of it's the glue that holds the team together, and it's absolutely fantastic. I think it's such a good addition to the game. And again, more kind of reading around what the developers are coming out and saying, that they basically play tested this game for months without voice comms to refine this ping system.
Yeah, that's the only way you're going to do it. You can't rely on bridges like that. You're going to have to kind of think how you're going to resolve this problem.
Yeah, I mean, you can even point out individual items, and it'll say specific item names, and you can point at modifications, and it'll say like, oh, there's a scope here. It's a level 3 scope. So
Yeah, for a sniper rifle
instantly,
or for a normal weapon or something.
yes, instantly you can tell if there's something there, and it puts a little ping on the hood, and you know where it is, and all the rest of it. It's so good. It's such a smart decision. It's absolutely fantastic. Something we haven't touched on as well, in Battle Royale, normally you die and that's it, you're fucked, you're out, you quit back to the menu, you don't even watch your teammates go to the end. This game, again, the extra glue to hold that team spirit together, got a great kind of revive system in it, in that
Resurrection.
if you die, you go down to one knee and you crawl around, your teammates can lift you back up if they can get to you, enemies can kill you outright if they whittle down like a secondary health bar while you're on your knees.
And as you say, in traditional battle royals, that would be the end of it. So like PUBG, if you're in squads, you go down, like you say, you're kind of on your knees and you can move around a bit. And then if they finish you, then you can either spectate or you can quit to main menu. That's it. Whereas here, Apex Legends, when you die, you drop like a loot box almost, or a crate of your items and goodies.
You turn into a casket.
Exactly, and your friends can come up to that casket, press a button, and download your metadata, if you will, onto a little notepad or a little phone. And then if they take that to a particular beacon, it then sends a dropship in, and what comes out of the dropship you do with a brand new body and a brand new life. And all you need to do is go back and retrieve your weapons, or if someone's been greedy and taken everything, you just need to start again from scratch. But it's fantastic because that's just another way of staying together. So rather than just leaving the match and maybe witnessing some more epic moments, you're staying in the game, you're spending more time in the game, and you're holding out on your friends. Yeah, you're holding out on your friends, kind of working together and bringing you back from the brink. I think we had a game with someone who resurrected maybe 3 or 4 times.
I mean, the memory that sticks in my head was early on, because this game's been out for 2 weeks now. It came out. Oh God, I'm gonna have a quick look at the calendar here. Is it the 10th? Or was it the 3rd?
I think it's probably the 3rd. Probably.
Yeah, I'm going to say that as well. Let's go with that. It feels like it's been a part of my life for a long time now because I've played that fucking much of it. The memory that sticks in my mind around the resurrection thing is early on in the game, we were playing with our friend Simon. Me and you got into a fight and died. Simon hung back, and I maintain to this day that's why we died, because we didn't have our third man backing us up, whereas they did. But he basically hid in the corner, and when the enemy team had kind of picked away at our corpses and took our good stuff, he kind of dashed out, grabbed our banners off the top of our caskets to resurrect us. The other team turned around and spotted him. He had no choice but to run out of the circle into the oncoming storm that's going to hit him. And he basically sprinted about a mile into this fucking circle, resurrected us, and the 3 of us just had to do this massive cross-country sprint to get back into
there
the
before
circle.
Dying all over again and just making that whole effort in vain. Yeah, that was really something. I remember.
And we did it. And then 10 seconds later, we got into another fight, and me and you died again. And he did it again. He stole our banners and resurrected us. And I think we came second in that match.
Yeah, we went, I can't remember where we came exactly, but I remember going, wasn't all the way, but pretty high up. And we have to thank Simon. I thought, Simon, if we win this, I'm gonna fucking kiss you, dude.
It was unreal, and it was fucking fantastic, because it was like a real sense of drama. And I think that's what Battle Royales do really well, and this game does fantastically. It gives you stories to tell about what happens.
Yeah. There's stories like that. There's the stories I've had with random people that just kind of made me laugh, and that really look back and fondly on. And it's like you say, it's the drama, it's the building up of the game, and it's the sticking around as well and working together. That's why staying in squads is that's the design choice. There's no solo running away. Having the incentives like the respawning your teammates and things like that, and having your teammates have abilities and their own separate abilities that would play into yours and kind of synergize together is again another fantastic design choice. It's such a great game. I'm just incredibly impressed at how great this game is.
Yeah, I mean it's so polished. It's reasonably stable. I think it's not had. I think it's had one major crash while I played it. I think there was one night where we were playing it. It was the first Saturday it was out, actually. I think I had played it for about 8 hours solid. It was about 10:30 at night, and the servers crashed, and I just took that as a sign. It's time
for bed. I think we messaged you that. I was like, "Did you get kicked out?" You're like, "Yeah, I got kicked out." There wasn't just me.
There's been a few blips, but I think generally speaking, this game has been incredibly stable. I don't feel like there's any major lag or rubber banding or anything like that. It's very, very polished.
No, it's really good, it's really polished. And you think for something that's come out that hasn't really had an early access or a beta, it is pretty well stable. And I mean, the developers have been very vocal about the fixes coming in and the stability of the games. And I think the worst bug I encountered at the moment is just you get kicked back to the main menu, and it's just one button I need to click to kind of go back in. And I haven't even lost the team I've been in. So if I'm being paired up with you and somebody else, I just
Straight
kind
back
of
in the
go
team.
back into the game, and we just straight back in. Don't need to resend invites or anything. So
I mean,
it really is just negligible.
I think the worst, so other than the servers going offline once while we were playing, although it was after, as I say, like an 8-hour session, so it wasn't the worst thing in the world, probably a healthy thing. Joking aside, though, I've had, like you say, sometimes you get put, after a match, you get put back to the main menu rather than in your party, but it's a reconnect, seamless, fine. It's been patched since, but in the first week, there was a bug where once you got kicked back to the menu, you wouldn't be able to sign back in unless you closed the game down and reopened it from scratch. And I've had a few matches where I spawn in as a solo player. Now I don't know whether that's just bad luck and both my teammates quit out.
I think that's bad luck because I've had that maybe once or twice recently.
Oh, it's completely minor. I've played, God, tens, if not over 100 games now.
I don't even quit on those games because I use those as opportunities just to play really aggressive and think, okay,
Yeah,
go
I
into
normally
the
go
hot
in the hot
zone and
zone.
just practice some strats and stuff like that. I think it's a really good way of doing it. But I don't think I would like to play this game solo. Period. I think it would put me off it. I think I really like having squads, even if it's random people. It doesn't
Oh,
necessarily have to be
completely.
people.
Yeah, and I think, you've played quite a bit together. There's been a few of us. We played with Simon a little bit. We've played with another friend of ours, Pete, quite a lot. He was part of that 8-hour session, which is really unusual for Pete to play an action game for that long. The only game I've ever seen him play is that long as a JRPG or Final Fantasy XIV, which is basically the JRPG MMO. So for him to play a game that long like this, it's definitely a testament to how fun it is. And we also played with our friend Alex.
Yeah,
Who
just really fun, really accessible.
we've been playing with Kel as well, so we've had quite a few people on this, and I think that's again the free to play. It's a low barrier of entry. It's a boon to the game rather than a criticism or like no one would buy this, put it out for free. It basically means more people are likely to buy it, more likely to play it because you don't have to put any money down on it. And
Yeah, exactly. What's the worst that could happen? You're not losing anything by playing with it. If you don't like it's not for you, then great, carry on with the other. Carry on playing the games that you do enjoy, and if it's something you do enjoy, then there's bound to be people out there or bound to be friends that are playing as well. My PlayStation friends list is constantly every day at least 7 or 8 people playing it, and I've never been short on generating a
yeah,
squad or building up a squad.
it's great. So yeah, I mean, this game is fantastic. I think it's genuinely it's generally the genuinely even the best multiplayer game I've played probably since Overwatch. That was that, and I thought very highly of Overwatch, and I'd really like this. It's only been 2 weeks. I left it 2 weeks before we did this review, 2.5 weeks now maybe,
Yeah.
because I wanted to give it some bedding in time, just to make sure that we'd formulated a decent opinion and would spend a lot of time with it.
Yeah,
Um,
it wasn't just that new car smell. It's definitely there's something to it.
I mean, for 2 weeks isn't a long time in the grand scheme of things, but I don't play a lot of games for a long time. I generally play them till they're done and move on. I'm an old school gamer in that type of regard. I don't not many games as a service really hook me in for more than maybe a month. Um,
Yeah, they all seem really grindy, especially with the loot boxes involved. But this doesn't. I mean, you hit kind of a soft cap at what is it, maybe 25,
20, I think.
and you don't get as many loot boxes. You normally get a loot box every level, but after 20, you get one every 2 or 3 levels. But it
Yeah,
doesn't seem grindy. You just seem to be having fun rather than just waiting for the next loot box. And
yeah,
it's all
and
cosmetic as well. And there's nothing kind of to say, oh, I wish you could have got this gun and make it more accessible, or oh, I could have got this.
yeah, completely. I think that kind of maybe nicely segues into the things that aren't so good about this game, and I think it's the loot box system and the monetization of it, because it's a little
It's
bit shitty.
controversial because there's very strong opinions on both sides. Like I would suggest that because it's free, they're more than happy to do what they want with loot boxes, and really we're kind of the consumers, and we don't really have much of a say because we haven't put any money down. Whereas something like Blackout or Black Ops rather, which recently has kind of put
Yeah, no.
a lot of emphasis back on loot boxes, ever so quietly, ever so subtly, has received a lot of flack because people have paid a $60 game or a £50 game, and I mean. Call of Duties will always go for this months and months after retail release because they're such, big beasts and big name games, and I think the other one example of that is FIFA.
Oh god, yeah.
So to kind of stick on cosmetic loot boxes, sorry, just seems to be really bad design choice.
I mean, loot boxes are never the best thing in the world. I don't always hate them, and at least one thing they do here is they post the odds of them, and there's no duplicates. You're guaranteed to get a top tier legendary every 20 loot boxes. I think it's 20 if I remember off the top of my head. It's as far as loot boxes go, they aren't the worst. I think it's more so there's the loot boxes you can buy. Which are the loot ticks. They're like little spider bots, which are quite cool because you can find them in game as well and smash them open for high tier loot. I think the worst aspect is the direct buy. So there'll be like a rotating shop front with gun skins and other unlockables like kind of character portraits and stuff for your kind of character cards. And they just feel expensive. And what is shitty is last week there was the Valentine's Day special, so they launched a Valentine's Day gun skin and a Valentine's Day portrait for, I think it was Pathfinder.
Pathfinder, yeah.
And you can only buy the premium currency in waves of 1,000, and these fucking things were 1,100 gold coins. And that's bullshit. Like you can't.
Yeah, it's really bad practice.
And
but it's not just limited to video games as well.
No, it's gambling. It's like you're right. It's not. It's not good practice. So it's shitty because basically it's forcing you to buy the higher tier of currency and then have leftover shit that you can't do anything with because nothing costs that much.
Incentivizes spending even more money because it says actually you can get $1,000 more if you buy this next pack up, which is another £5 or something.
Yeah, and what's worse is, I mean, like that's shitty as well because basically it's gaming the system. It's the system gaming you more likely, but I can't remember what is it, like £8 for, I'm gonna say £8 or £9 for 1,000 gold coins. Fucking £10 for a character portrait. Are you shitting us?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But I think I love to see the numbers on it. But I reckon there will be people doing that to make it viable enough, and that's why they charge those prices. So peasants like me and you that are grown up and very particular with our money, and we have mortgages, that's just nothing. But kids that are spoiled and rich,
I don't even think I don't think I'm particularly sensible with my money, if I'm perfectly honest, because I really enjoyed this game. I bought a little bit of the currency because I wanted to unlock Caustic really early on, because as we say, two of the characters, Caustic and Mirage, are locked initially. So I bought Caustic. Didn't mind doing that because I'd played within the first few days. I'd played something like 15 hours of this within 3 days or something stupid. So I was like, you know what, this is free. I want to play that character to try him out because he seems a little bit different. I don't mind dropping a little bit of currency in this. So that's fine, buying characters and stuff, and I don't think they were badly priced. You pay less for a character than you do a fucking portrait. I don't get it, but so I don't mind dropping money. Dropping money into a video game isn't a problem for me if I feel like it's worth it. I just don't think them things are worth it. And I think the skin game in this, in this game, is lame. Maybe I've been spoiled by Overwatch and 3 years of like ever increasingly complicated.
Yeah, I mean,
skins.
like you say, it's 2 weeks. I expect them to do kind of more weird and wonderful things with this. But
I mean, the skins basically equate to, you've got like the traditional tiers, as I say, white, blue, purple, and gold being the legendaries, but the only time characters' costumes change are with gold costumes. The rest of them are all just color swaps. Your white ones are basically legitimate, just basic color swaps. Your second tier are patterned fabrics.
Yeah, and there's very few, even in the gold ones, that make a considerable difference. I think like Mirage and Pathfinder, I think they look almost identical, all three of the alternative costumes. It's only one of the odd ones, like Wraith, I think looks wildly different in some of hers.
With a shaved head.
As does Gibraltar as well. He looks wildly different in one of his, where he's got kind of like the army helmet on and stuff.
Yeah, it's like a military thing. So I don't think the skin game is great in this game, which is a shame. So to me, if you give us a better variety of skins and let us buy them directly, I'd be far more inclined to drop a bit of cash into this every so often. As it stands, I'm not paying £10 for a gun skin or buying loot boxes till I get what I want. I know there's a battle pass plan for this for March, so we'll see how that pans out. Because if I'm still playing it as much as I am now,
I think
I'd be tempted.
the future of this game is going to hinge on the pricing and what's available on that battle pass. So I think they have to be tread very, very carefully. I can see a lot of people just bombing out. If it's successful as Fortnite, then great. This has got a long and very prosperous future. But if it's something like Blackout has done recently, then I think there's a problem.
I feel like this is closer to what Fortnite's success will be than it will be Blackout's kind of fizzle out a little bit. It feel, maybe it's my own personal opinion, but this feels much like a much bigger thing. It's top of Twitch at the moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's literally just doing the battle royale, whereas Blackout was doing Black Ops 3 was doing the battle royale. It was doing the multiplayer. It did the co-op thing as well, just to stick with the traditional Black Ops formula. This is just all in with the battle royale formula. So they've got
completely. It's so and as I say, I'm possibly quite interested in the battle pass, seeing what that is. So we'll see how it pans out, and they're going to put extra stuff in. There's a couple of there's 2 new legends rumored for March as well. So 2 new playable characters. So that'll be interesting where they go with them. There's a lot of room to grow. They've already said more maps are on the way.
Yeah, I think a couple of days ago they released a new weapon as well. So there's definitely support coming in for it. And I think the numbers, it was like, was it 2 million within the first 8 days or something like that?
So it was 2 million players within the first day, I think. First 2 days. And by the first weekend, it was something like 25 million players.
Yeah, that's just incredible. Those are numbers that investors drool over. It's really... And it's a testament to the game as well, and how really well done it is.
It's fantastic. The only thing I don't like about this game is some of the monetization practices, but I'm not dipping in to get. I don't think there's much there to spend your money on anyway, so I don't think it detracts from how much I like this game.
I was going to say it doesn't detract from the formula. It'd be nice to have maybe something more accessible. Like I enjoy playing Dota 2 and getting kind of alternate costumes for that, and there was like a marketplace, and the prices for even the loot boxes. They've changed, so you'll never get the same thing twice. You'll always get a new skin each time, and there were kind of a good variety of stuff. So I didn't mind kind of putting down some money and doing that. And I think if Apex Legends did something, I'd be quite happy to do something very similar to it as well. But at the moment, it doesn't detract from it. I'm enjoying my time with it, and great.
Yeah,
absolutely great.
So here's a question: we don't generally do ratings, and this one's a bit of an odd one because it's free to play, but. I think in this country, £50 is probably the retail price for a normal console game. 45, some shops do it at. Not many these days, if I'm honest. Brexit's
no, it's I was on like Hot UK deals or something, waiting for a price drop.
I suppose that it's a case of if you bought this at full price, would you be happy, or what would your if this was a retail game, what would your price entry point be?
I think I'd have to make a comparison because I bought Kingdom Hearts recently, and I bought that for £38, and I finished it, and I was like, right, I'm done with it, and I did it pretty quickly and took it back to the shop, and I made the loss of about £2. That's pretty much how I paid. So I paid kind of 38 initially, and I got 36 back. So this is not much deal, but I would be happy if they said to me, instead of Kingdom Hearts, we'd give you Apex Legends. I think I'd be happy. I'd be like, yeah, that's a fair trade. I'd probably say yes to that. So if I was playing the beta for Apex Legends and then the retail came out, I'd probably put that same amount of money down. I don't think it'd be much more than that. And I think at the moment it's just the one kind of mode and the one map, and it's inevitable that they're going to release more things like you say for it. But at the moment, that's all you're getting.
No, I think you're right. I mean, Resident Evil 2 came out recently at that kind of B tier pricing point at £35 brand new. And I think because of the limited scope of this game, that feels reasonable, to be honest. I could be wrong, but I think that's what I paid for Overwatch new.
Yeah, I did as well. I think we all got the same deal. Somebody posted it on the forum that we have. So I think that's more than reasonable. And Overwatch, when it came out, had many maps and many skins, and that kind of was on the horizon much longer and went through a beta process. This has kind of been dropped onto the world very last minute and kind of with good reason, and it's worked very well. It's a very good marketing strategy as well. I'd love to have been in that marketing meeting where they said, actually, we're not going to do any marketing. And the people are like, what the fuck? Why would you do that? It's like, no, just trust us. Just trust us.
Yeah, there's so much going against it. We've said it a few times. This is just a game that was designed with smart things, designed with smart decisions, marketed with smart decisions, and it's I'm so enthusiastic about it. I can't help but recommend it. It's fucking fantastic. Really like it. And probably will be playing it for some time to come.
Yeah, as will I. I don't think there's not much that beats the feeling of and the rush of getting a victory when
Oh,
you get
and
the screen saying you are the
we've
champion.
fucking won as well. We've won multiple times. I think I'm on 7 or 8 victories at this point. And Christ, I think the best I ever did in Blackout was get a second place, and that was a rare occasion.
Yeah, I think it's because it's teammates as well. I won't say you can rest on them, but you're working together, and there's much more
I've definitely been carried a
cohesion.
few times.
It's
But at the
fun.
same time,
It's more enjoyable as well when you're winning it with friends as well. You're sharing you're reveling in that glory with other people.
well, I mean, you know, what's really good is we've won as a team. You know, I've not just ran with randoms who carried me or carried it randoms. Me and you have won as a team.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that was my first victory when I won it with you as well. And
yeah,
that's
it
one I've
was great.
got saved as a favorite moment on my
Yeah,
PlayStation. I really enjoyed it, and that feeling is a really good feeling. And I mean, there's days where you'll do everything really well and you'll only come second or third place, and you'll almost hate the game for not getting that victory, and then you'll make that breakthrough, and it's such a great feeling to have. It's just like beating a really hard boss in Dark Souls, but you get
yeah.
that feeling over and over again.
I must admit, I've never really been too frustrated by even coming second and getting killed. It's like if I lose, it's like, right, let's go back in. I want to win this time. And if I win, it's like, yeah, let's do that again. And I'm straight back in. And I'll tell you that's another thing we haven't. I'm just throwing the last few things in here. The loading time is quick. There's no preamble. There's no lobby. I don't know if PUBG does this, but Blackout, when you load into a game, you all get parachuted into the map where you punch each other and can't do much and everyone's invincible.
PUBG
And then
does that. That's taken straight from PUBG, and Fortnite does that as well.
Whereas this this loads the map so quick, they got rid of that phase, and that's fucking fantastic. It just makes it so quick.
I love that you're waiting for other people as well, but because this is 20 squads of threes, so 60 people, you're not waiting for the other 40 people to come along, so you're always going to get that many people in. I think even if you don't get the full 60, you'll still drop. It'll still give a time limit. So right, if they're not in, on you go.
Yeah, I mean that's something actually we haven't touched on how many people it is. It's a relatively small player cap. It's 60. Normally it's about 80 to 100. So it's basically 20 teams of 3.
I think the max would be the planet side equivalent, which would be the 400 or something. Is it ridiculous?
Christ, yeah, that sounds crazy. I think it's a nicely scaled. I don't think it doesn't feel too barren. You know, the map feels a nice size. It feels, everything feels comfortable, and it feels just solid and well designed. I think this is fucking great. I think it's a genuinely great game.
Yeah, I agree. It's come at the right time. Like I said, the only game I was playing really was Kingdom Hearts, which is now off my list. So I'll be playing this for a while. There's a couple of games coming in the next couple of months that I want to pick up. Devil May Cry 5 being one of them, but I think this will tide me over nicely till then. Otherwise, I'll just be watching Netflix or spending time with the family, which don't really.
That's the bottom of their priorities, I would imagine.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the last worst case scenario.
That's when you can't get a full squad. All right, I'll go and play with the kids.
Yeah, she's too young to know what Jump Master means, so we'll have to wait a bit older.
Yeah. Yeah, just always give it to her. You can be the Jump Master. Yeah, so I think I'm pretty much said everything I wanted to say about this.
Yep, I think everything to say. I think I'm ready to go back in.
Let's drop in. So thanks guys if you are still bearing with us. These long play reviews do fucking go on a long time. But yeah, thanks, and you mentioned a few games. I think I've got a few games that I've got irons in the fire. We'll probably come back and do a few more.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Right, cheers.
Placing gas trap. Tossing thermite. We find ourselves inside the next room. Reloading. Reloading.
Calling upon nature's strength.
We've simply removed the killer
You are the Apex Champions.